trail spring break trip, and we stayed here last night at this kind of retro hotel, which we will be returning to when we come back. And there's Pierre. We just had breakfast. We're waiting for our ride to the trailhead. Kind of a fun little hotel room. Got up at 7. They have a nice breakfast here, and we're going to be heading to the trail soon, and we'll start off on our journey.
Just starting the approach trail to the start of the AZT. We'll be in the border and the start monument in about an hour or so, and we can start.
Down there, that straight line of that road, that is the Mexican border. So there's Mexico.
So we're at Coronado Memorial Trailhead, which is about 2 miles in onto the Arizona Trail. There's a road down in here that brings you up to here. It goes this way. We're going to be going up and over those mountains, heading towards Bathtub Springs. This is looking north and west into the United States. And if we spin around this way, you can see that strong horizontal line there. That's the border between the United States and Mexico.
Somebody left a water cache over here. People who don't.
Probably enough, I guess. What's today's date? 3/31.
Sign in on the trail register.
Heading up to Miller Peak, just crossed from the trailhead of the Coronado Monument. We have 2,000 feet of vertical, and we'll be topping out at 9,090, and then heading down a couple thousand feet to Bathtub Springs.
Getting towards the top of our climb for the first day. Close to 9,000 feet, and lo and behold, we got some snow. Had little patches here and there. So that we met a ranger on our way up, and he said the next 2 days are supposed to be pretty nasty as far as weather goes, like super windy, snow at elevation, and rain a little bit down lower. So it's hard to know. After doing the PCD, what that looks like here in Arizona, but you know, we're prepared. We've got all the gear, so we'll take it day by day. Walking through snow on a ridge, just what we love doing. However, the beauty is just amazing.
We just made it over the high point from the day. It was really windy up there, so we didn't take any videos. And now we're making our descent, and I'm sure you can notice that we have snow on this side of the mountain here in southern Arizona, right by the Mexican border. But got a mile or two to our first water source of the day, and then we'll assess the situation to see how much farther we're going to go.
So we made it to our campsite. Really happy for that. Here's, it's called Bathtub Springs. Pretty clear why. A little trickle of water coming from there. And this is where this is our first water source. This is where we collect water. There's a camp spot there, but you're not supposed to camp there. So we are camping up there. You can kind of see our tent. Good morning, day 2 It was very, very windy last night. As you can see, there's kind of mist coming in, clouds coming in over the mountain. We ran into 3 other people yesterday who actually did the PCT the same year we did, so that was kind of cool. Chit-chatted about our experiences. So we finally came to our first Arizona trail sign. Up until now it's been the Crest Trail. Now we're at a junction and we are going to be heading this way down the Arizona Trail.
Looking to the north, coming down off this wonderful mountain with where we had the snow and the wind. If you look over here to the right, you can see the clouds moving pretty quickly. There's still plenty of wind, but we're in the lee of the mountains and we're along there. You can see the trail just below the cloud line. We'll be going over and then we're going to eventually get off these mountains and onto the flats to the north of there. So it should be a pretty interesting day and definitely a little bit more cruisy than yesterday.
Super interesting, kind of like a 2-track, but yeah, now we cross a big valley and some mountains in the distance and a man-made lake. It's pretty. Turned out to be an okay day, probably in the 50s, maybe 60s, 62. And the sun came out a bit, although you can't tell from this, but anyway, had a great lunch and planning to go another 9.5 miles or so. We had our last snack. We've got about 3.5 miles left to camp, and we got some pretty views from this side going downhill to get to our camp, so that's good. But not the views.
Good morning of day 3. This is where we came from. Back there where we had a fair bit of rain last night. Now we're making it down the trail. Gonna try to get to Patagonia today. Stay at the campsite there so we can charge up our equipment and try out, I guess.
We actually have a little bit of snow falling here, kind of mixed with rain. We've had it all. We've had, last night it rained a lot. That's why we didn't record our camp spot. Rained all night long. It's pretty cold. And then still, you know, we've got little bits of sun, but it's supposed to be rainy today too, so we're not expecting much. We're not anticipating a whole lot of sun. So just making our way down the trail and enjoying every peak of the sun we can and enjoying the beauty as it is. Wow. This is the desert. Surprise, surprise. Freezing.
Snow in April.
Snow in April. Lovely. Sun has finally come out. Just grabbed some water, caught up with some other hikers, and came across this fixer-upper with a skull in the window. There you go. but at least we got some sun. We've had it all today. We've had snow, we've had wind, we've had rain, we've had sun. What an adventure. Finally having a sit-down break. It has been a tough day, on and off rain and snow, wind, and we're finally getting a chance to dry out our tent here. We have a nice, pretty spot. We're pretty convinced that the blue skies don't mean anything at this point because they haven't really all day, but we're heading to Trailhead, and then we're gonna go make our way to a campground for the night that's close, Terra del Sol, and then go into Patagonia tomorrow, get the supplies that we need, and head on back out. So last night, a wonderful woman named Mary picked us up. She owns a campground, kind of a hiker campground or van life or hiker campground for backpackers and van lifers. She was one herself, and she picked us up and brought us to her place and showed us around. It was really great. It kind of brought us back to PCT life, trail town life. There were thru hikers there and people we'd been leapfrogging with. And she brought us into town. We got what we needed for our extra day that we missed, and woke up this morning to a beautiful day finally. And we are headed, it's actually the official trail right through the town of Patagonia. So we're off this morning hoping for some easier miles.
Looking back in the direction of Patagonia, we're on this connector trail back up to the official AZT. It's a beautiful day. It was sunny, it's cloudy, but according to the weather forecast, these clouds should be gone by 9.
Finally back on the official Arizona trail and not hearing cars finally anymore, and wonderful views. Some fresh snow up there, likely from yesterday. That's beautiful.
Well, this is what happens when it snows up on that mountain that we took pictures of earlier this morning. The snow is almost all gone. It's disappeared, it's turned into lovely water, and this creek is now plenty of water, so we were able to get that. Apparently it was dry for a while, and these 3 skulls over here weren't able to get water, but if they only had a little bit more patience, they would have got some.
Just climbing up out of this canyon. It's really beautiful. Barely any snow on that mountain anymore. snow-capped mountains way in the distance over here. So pretty.
Head over there to Saguaro National Park.
Oh.
About a mile and a half to our last water source of the day and potential campsite. We're gonna make our way down this way after a good, felt like an all day up. There was only 1,500 feet total from the low point to the high point, but there was lots of downs in between. So our legs got a good workout today.
White rice tonight. There it is, and I will be stirring that up in a moment. And we've got some meat to put in it, and it'll be a yummy dinner. It is morning of day 5. Just packed up, left camp, climbed up a little climb, got a little bit more. Already starting to see some beautiful views. It looks like it's going to be a flat, relatively downhill day, kind of opposite of what it was yesterday. So that's just fine. It's beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky. It's already warming up nicely. We had a nice leisurely breakfast, cup and a half of coffee. It's exciting to think of what this day will bring.
Good morning. Just taking a little break here as we're taking off layers of clothes as we head down the trail. We just left behind us that little valley where we had spent a lovely night, had a great cup of coffee. We had 9 miles to Kennedy Creek, where Kennedy Creek is a place, or Kennedy Camp, where we can get some water, guaranteed good water source. There's Renee in the background, taking off layer of pants, going to be in her skirt for the day. And as we're going down the trail, it should be a nice, beautiful day. By the looks of things, the sky is blue, blue, blue. No clouds to be seen anywhere. So we'll be putting on some sunscreen, keeping covered up, and enjoying the day.
We came across a couple hikers who are through hiking, asked them if he had done the PCT, because I said we're running into a ton of people who have done it in 2022, and lo and behold, he was a class of 2022 through hiker of the PCT, just like us. So that makes how many now, honey?
6.
Yeah. So we are calling it the reunion 2022 PCT reunion hike. That is Saguaro National Park in front of us. Walking along this 2-track here, part of the trail, nice flat area with huge, big, vast views, mountains in the distance. That's where we came from. We were just at Kentucky Camp. Tell us a little bit about Kentucky Camp, Pierre.
It was a place for the local gold mining they did here in the turn of the century, where they basically made a pipe the water in, and then they just blasted all the sand and dirt away to find the gold.
leave it to Pierre to be able to tell you the history. He's been reading all the interpretive signs. That's great. So walking down a dirt road, continuing, still walking around the Mount, what is it? Herbert, something like that. So yeah, we've kind of been making our way around there for the last couple days. Just hiking the last little bit of our day. Got maybe half a mile to a water tank. That'll be our last source of water, and then we'll camel up and get a few more miles in. Make our 20, 21. It's been a really beautiful day. Not a cloud in the sky, good temperature, beautiful scenery, met great people. Met a school teacher who lives in a schoolie, mini schoolie. Talked to her for a while. Met a couple thru hikers, another PCT 2022er, and some older gentlemen who we saw in Patagonia. So yeah, it's kind of the people that you meet too that makes it so much fun. Having a good time. So we made it to our water source. I mentioned just a bit ago, here's the cow. And this is the water that we need to
Filter.
For
some
the
reason.
cow trough.
For some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of algae. Thankfully, we have a scoop and we have water filters. We're gonna share with you, cow. Thank you.
This is our campsite for tonight. We're on top of this ridge. The mountains in the background are this Saguaro National Park. This is looking to the north. The direction we'll be going tomorrow morning, and to the west.
So tonight we are having mac and cheese. Vegan mac and cheese, one of our favorite meals, overlooking this beautiful valley, the mountains surrounding us, with the sunrise off that way, or sunset, sorry. Beautiful views all the way around. Waking up this morning, it's about 6:30. Last night we had a beautiful sunset, we're just in a gorgeous spot. And this morning we have a beautiful sunrise. Moon up there, you can see it. Yeah. And I'm still in the tent. Slept without a fly last night. So in the mountains. Our last full day on trail.
The sun has come up. Looking over the valley we'll be going through this morning as we hike the last full day of this AZT spring break adventure. There's Renee in her tent up there, getting some early morning pictures by the looks of things, getting ready for our day. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. The sun has hit us right away because we picked our tent right on top of this ridge to allow us to have optimal sun for the morning.
We are morning day 6, our last full day on the trail, and just got going about 10 minutes ago. It's a nice, warm, beautiful, sunny day again. And we're now walking through the valley that we were up above and enjoying the beautiful scenery, nice trail. Look at all different ways get by ear today. Got a couple miles to a water cache, and there's a couple highways that we're gonna have to navigate where we're gonna camp tonight, but hopefully it won't be too difficult.
Still making our way north towards Saguaro National Park. The trail now is losing elevation. We're gonna go down to about 4,000 feet. And that's where the big cactus live, because it's warm enough for them all the time, so they don't suffer from cold. Had surprising water on this section of the trail. A few of these washes have actually had water in them because of the snow the other day. So the water carry isn't as great. Last of the mountains, at least for this week's hike, is behind us, and now we're going to cross the flats. And the far distance would be the next set of mountains, which is the national park. But this is what we'll be walking through for the next 20 or so miles. Relatively flat. Very, very prickly. Everything here has spikes on it, so you be very polite to the plants.
So it's after lunch. We had a lunch with lots and lots of caterpillar guests for whatever reason under a tree, the only shade, so we didn't have a choice, near a cow pond. And ooh, look at the beautiful buttercup, all the wildflowers. Finally getting some wildflower action. Anyway, lots of caterpillars, so we didn't stay there long. We also asked for hot weather, and boy did we get it today. It's probably about 85, 90.
Not that we're complaining.
Not that we're complaining, because look at this.
No.
How can you complain when you have this? But yeah, lots more wildflowers. It's pretty. On we go. To our cache, go a couple more miles, and so tons of water. Nice trail angels come, volunteers come and do that, and then they also left some beers, some Pilsner and some chips and ambers and IPAs. So Pierre took a beer. We're gonna not do the chips at this point, but so nice. Thank you, trail angels, volunteers. Made it to our last camp site, and there is no shade, so we're in the middle of, the desert. Certainly no tent or no fly. It's quite warm, probably still 80. And there's a highway right next to us, which is not ideal, but this is what we got. 21 miles today was enough. And tomorrow we're hoping to get picked up by a trail angel that we can potentially text. So we'll do anywhere from 4 to 6 miles tomorrow, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, lots of cacti all around us. And this is the view from the other side. Not bad views, that's for sure. But anyway, we're gonna rest a little bit in the tent and then have some dinner and go to bed.
So Pierre woke up this morning, or well, actually last night, thinking he heard something chewing something, shone a light. Evidently not at the place where it needed to be because he woke up this morning and his shoelaces were all chewed.
Yeah, this is all that's left of my shoelaces.
Every little bit. Little bears. Just gonna love 'em. Hopefully we've got some paracord and we'll makeshift some shoelaces. Here, we'll go get done with that. And we got a sleigh ride coming up from our tent.
Oh.
So it is morning of day 7, just to show you Pierre's, a couple of Pierre's ingenious creations. So we've got our tripod water filter pole, so we've got the water filtering as we eat our breakfast. And then Pierre also fixed his shoes by using paracord that we would otherwise use to hang a food bag that we just happen to have, thankfully. So he's all set for the day. We're all packed up. Looks like it's going to be a little cloudier of a day. It says it's supposed to be windy, but this is our last day on trail. We're not really sure how far we're going to go today, but we've got reservations tonight back at the hotel.
Last morning on trail. If you look across here, there's a bit of yellow. This is what they call a super bloom. To the front of us here is Saguaro National Park. We finally are going to reach it. Got about 6 or more miles till we get back or off the trail, and then we've got to figure out what the next adventure is to get from the trail back into Tucson. But that's this afternoon's adventure. The shoes with the laces are holding up just fine. And now we have a story to tell about the attack of the little bear.
Just walking through this forest of some sort of flowering cacti. Not quite sure what the name is. Lots of yellow wildflowers. It's kind of cool. Looks like we got Vail, Arizona in the distance. Coming up on our highway. That'll end our journey, or at least our planned journey of 112 miles. And we go beyond that. There's a ranch that has some caves. Thought may be interesting if we still got it in us. Walking through a long tunnel under Interstate 10, which is technically our ending to our trail, but we'll see. I think we're gonna go a little bit further pretty early in the morning. We just left the end of our hike and we're gonna hike onto the Colossal Caves. One of the reasons is because we wanted to see some actual saguaros. And there you go in the distance, you can see our first saguaro cactus. And go forward on the trail and see what happens. Our challenge will be finding a ride back into Tucson, but I'm sure we'll figure something out.